This is IBM Museum. In addition to pulling out that IBM 5494, I've also pulled out a couple of my 5394. That's evidently an earlier generation of that unit, a little bit more limited for what it has as capabilities. But I just thought I'd give a kind of a quick view of the insides of this. And of course, the one on the bottom is the front of the unit. The one on top is the back of the unit. And if anything can be said, this plastic that it has on these tabs and things, it is brittle. If you open these units, you're gonna go through and bust these tabs. There's just not any flex to these tabs. Now, the good thing is that uh, vintage plastic. I use a liquid plastic glue. Um, I've had vials of these around for a long time, and it does work well on this era of plastic, whatever structure it is. Um, I even had the PCB warped a little bit at this corner and was lifted above kind of the pin and actually popped the retaining bracket um, for holding that PCB. And the other thing I noticed is that this PCB, this corner is changed, evidently very different from what it was designed. Uh, they looks like they intended that PCB to kind of go in that corner as well. But there are a few parts in here of kind of knowable nature. Um, this is an Intel 8186 CPU, and evidently by the crystal that's close to it, looks like that's clocked at 8 megahertz. So kind of interesting enough. And then there is a 72 pin SIM module, and this I think is like a 1 megabyte capacity SIM that's on the board, and at least this is a conventional SIM as compared to the 5494 that has very unconventional SIMs. It has two sockets in that instance. And then there's an EEPROM um, that I've gone through, and um, I've read that EEPROM and pulled it up, and actually the encoding on that looks like it's epithetic, um, and so it just reveals just one string in there for the copyright. There's also, of course, a diskette drive at on the front of this unit. It does have a diskette. I've gone through and I've archived that diskette. That's just a standard 1.44 PC format for all that. So it does have readable files um, on that diskette. I've got that archived away. The power supply, it actually um, looks in real good shape. I mean, the metal and everything else. I will probably go through and open this up just to kind of look at the insides before I would go through and power something like this up. But the PCB does get power here at the edge, 5 and 12 volts. That's marked a little connector that inserts into the side of the PSU, and so it'll be interesting also getting these running as well. There's not really a page of information. It's just too far separate from the uh, anything like the microchannel bus like the 5494 has for Major Tom to have that up on the Ardent tool. There are the manuals. I'll provide a link to where the web directory at BitSavers, where they have the manuals for the operation of this 5394. And at the point where I kind of get everything documented, get some pictures taken and everything, I'll just look over the electronics and seeing how that power supply is, and then go through from there to start this thing up and see what we can do. It has the twin X ports directly on the back. These are 0, 1, and 2, and there's a probably what is a standard async port. It does have the line drivers that might be just out of view behind the connector. Those 1488s and 1489 line drivers for a serial type of connection. You're seeing the wildlife go past there in the webcam view. I've got a moth that's circling around going for the lights. But I just thought I'd go over just a quick view of the insides of that unit. Um, since in this case it's a very delicate process to look at the insides, and just one other device from the past that I'm looking at going through and working with. So if you enjoy this content, go ahead and click on that like button and comment if you've seen these things in operation um, anywhere, or kind of aware of them being used in the past. Um, and if you have not already, of course, subscribe to my channel. Maybe I can get Mr. Moth here in the background to also subscribe to my channel, but I'm just looking for more subscribers as well. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. That's all I have. Thank you. Bye-bye.